this under an hour.
We should observe the ancient ritual of traditional pre-fight donuts.
Yeah! Fear does not exist in this dojo, does it?
Am I the baddest mofo low down around this time?
Shut up!
Break, not hit back.
Silly Caucasian girl likes to play with samurai swords.
You will all refer to me by the name Betty.
I know Kung Fu.
Thank you, Chuck Norris.
I said I don't want trouble.
Only an idiot can destroy a ninja.
Defeat does not exist in this dojo, does it? No,
Now, who wants to go home? And who wants to go with me?
All right, and we're live, and we're recording. Welcome to Kickflix. It's like Netflix, but with a kick. Your favorite podcast where you come to watch and listen to people talking, debate, and review your favorite martial arts movies, or Undisputed.
Favorite. Air quotes, favorite.
Or Undisputed, I
Or
said.
Undisputed.
I am Neri Warhawk Science. With me, as usual, is Jeff Throwpunch Mercancini.
Hello.
And Mike Roundhouse Mercadal. Roundhouse. Today we're talking about 2002's Undisputed, the Ving Rhames, Wesley Snipes cinematic masterpiece. That is Undisputed.
I would like to say that they really tried.
Well, let's go. Hold on, before we get it,
We'll get there.
We'll get there, guys.
They get half a point for that. We'll get there.
We have plenty of time. In fact, we're gonna try to fill time here. Give me the IMDb description, Mike.
Here we go. Undisputed, released in 2002, when heavyweight champion George Iceman Chambers lands in prison, a resident gangster arranges a boxing match with the reigning prison champ. All of that factually accurate.
Taglines? Do we have any taglines?
Oh, we do have taglines. Let's see the taglines. There's 4 taglines. The biggest fight of their lives.
Okay.
One man fighting for his honor. One man fighting for his future. Two enemies. The mob. The ultimate showdown. That seems like a stretch, even though it's truth, but it portrays a different movie, right, in my opinion. Then the last one. At Sweetwater Prison, the world heavyweight champion is about to meet his match.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Oddities are true. I feel as if they just kind of phoned in the taglines. I could have come up with a better tagline.
I mean, it seems like they phoned in a lot of things.
They did phone in a lot. There was, oh God, man, it's interesting. All right, we'll get in. We gotta go through. All right. So we did that taglines. We did thing. Now we do the
parental.
We do the 60-second first.
No,
parental first. Sorry. The Parents Guide for the 2002 film, rated R for strong language, sex and nudity, moderate.
That was done.
I mean, yeah.
The showers? Is that what?
That's
yes.
Right.
There's a whole shower
you saw
scene.
Vin's butt. You saw his
see
butt,
like
right?
butt crack. I mean, it's not even that. A man holds a towel that barely covers his crotch in the prison shower, and then we see most of Chambers' bare butt as he walks away. Most.
It was enough for me.
It was enough. Hutchins' girlfriend's bare breasts are shown in a flashback of him entering a room and finding her with another man.
Which flashback?
The one in black and white.
There was only.
Oh, that makes it more specific. Okay.
The one in black
Wait,
and white.
those were flashbacks? An interview with Tawny where she talks about the rape that she didn't want to, and that she told him no. Chambers saying just look at him when he asks why he'd have to rape someone. That's usually a dead giveaway that somebody raped somebody. A woman meets with Chambers and discusses the night of the alleged rape. He states that he's no punk-ass rapist and that she wanted it. He then adds that she didn't say no and didn't have a problem with any of it. When the woman claims that the victim feared that he could physically harm her, Chambers responds by saying, "Yeah, that's why she was making all them happy sounds, because I was killing her."
Mm-hmm.
He then, this is a long one. Jesus, like write a fucking paragraph.
He's doing the entire scene.
Yeah. He then states that some women like it rough, and then asks the woman, "Do you know anything about that?" The woman then states it could have been explained away easily enough that he mistook her cries for help, or that she was in pain. He replies that he's heard pain before, and believe me, she wasn't in no pain. Okay. This is 100% one of the examples where I want to see where else this fucker's commented on parental guides. That man, this person clearly enjoys the writing out of this description too much. Like there's so much attention to detail.
Here's my question is, did he copy and paste that dialogue, or was you watching the movie and then like a court stenographer typing it out? Like that's my question.
I like to picture him on an old typewriter like Murder, She Wrote.
Yes, absolutely sending this and going.
I just picture him doing what we used to do in the 90s when we wanted the lyrics to a song. Like you play a little bit and then you stop. And then you type. And you play a little bit and then you stop. So I want to see him with a VHS like that. Stop. And then I ain't no bitch ass rapist.
I just want to know who he thinks he's doing this for, right? Like he's clearly watching all of these movies with a fucking notepad, and like he's like, people will thank me in the anonymous IMDb page, whatever.
What if he has a podcast called Parental Flicks?
Parental guidance. That, I mean, I'll be honest with you, there's a whole bunch of right-wing nut jobs that would love that shit. I read a story where some guy learned Chinese so he could get all the Chinese copies of movies so they wouldn't have all of the gay shit in it.
Oh my god!
And I was like,
you got. I know you did the air quotes.
Air quotes.
Air
on the podcast.
Air quotes.
But on the audio, you have
yes.
To,
Thank you. Thank you for that,
it.
by the way. Some guy,
let me clarify that for the listener, because like, what the fuck did
he just?
What he's saying is
some fucking bigot decided to do this, and that was a quote from him.
Yeah.
That he was like, yeah, I want the Chinese versions, because I'm assuming that's his voice. But but like that's that like there's a ton of right-wing nut jobs that probably would like go nuts to this sort of thing of like, tell me all the bad things.
If I wanted to go, if I really like, because I, having this conversation with a couple of friends about like, you got to find a niche, a podcast for a specific niche. That would probably be way easier to go viral to get more listeners than it is to do a Kickflix or a Geek More or something.
For sure.
Like,
that's why people do it. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know. If you do a parental guide, my wife listens to 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 different MLM podcasts.
I'd end it with like, here you go, you fucking bigots, like as the sign off.
Yeah.
Like jerk off to this, you fucking weirdos.
Yeah. And I would equate it to that Bill Burr joke. Remember that Bill Burr joke back in the day where he was like, I bet you I could write a book where it's like, this is what a woman needs, and then like with him in a cover with a fucking dumbass sweater over his collar, and he's like folded over his shoulder, whatever, blah blah. And then he could write another book where he spends all that money that he got from the first book and spends it all on hookers and blow. And then he writes another book like, ha, dumb bitches, I fooled you. And then then he could write a book about that, and all the guys will buy that book. And he's like, I can't make it as obvious as that, but like that's what we could do with the Parental Guidance podcast. We just make it super like, into baseball, like winking at the camera, like, this cat, this is
there's still more. Violence and gore, severe, brutal murder, boxing violence.
Yeah.
Wait, where's the brutal murder?
The I guess the murder scene where they show Monroe kill the guy.
They didn't even show him. They just show him punching him. We don't show him
tossing him around. Yeah, they don't show. I don't remember them seeing. I might have blacked out.
It's a subcategory of boxing violence.
That makes me sound really fucking evil. Like they don't show the murder. I wanted them to show the brutal murder. It makes it seem like that's what I want. And like, no, I just didn't see
Meanwhile,
it.
my wife watches serial killer shit, and where they actually they describe the brutal murder in detail.
I literally went to a museum of death where they show autopsy videos, a month ago.
All right,
but, isn't that you've seen it?
Mike's like, bye.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. You've seen that meme? I know. I sent it to Jeff. Have you seen that meme where it's like me watching Hollywood movies where there's a death involved, and it's like and he can't sleep at night, and then like me watching crime real life crime stories that about murder. It's like
with the forensic files on.
But there's like a Patton Oswalt bit where it was he was watching The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly with his wife. Rest in peace. And then everyone was getting shot, and she's like, "Oh, it's so violent." And then it's like everyone just going like, "Ugh," like it's not even like a real like, hey, like people dying that way. And then cut to her watching something where it's like, the semen in the brain cavity was found, and it's like, profanity, severe.
Yeah.
Strong profanity throughout. Chambers says the word pussy, which is not the biggest problem here. Ed Lover says fuck like 1,000 times.
Good for him not being dead in 2002.
Good for him. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking, mild. Some beer drinking. I will say, there's not a lot of drugs in this for.
Hey, man. They're prisoners, but they're not fucking hurting their bodies, man.
Yeah, no. I mean, frightening and intense scenes, moderate. Intense murder scene.
Again, not that intense.
Really? Okay. I mean, all right. I guess
you should comment on that one and be like, really?
Where?
Like, you can't. That's the thing. You can't. You can only submit like
correction.
I guess,
Mike, you should submit one that just says, "What's up with this guy? I don't know what he's talking about."
You can't put a thumbs down. You can't be like, "Is this helpful?" and put a thumbs down. And be like, "This is wrong."
I don't know. I can find 5 out. How do I? Oh, I can vote on the severity.
Yeah. Oh,
but I can't.
But you can't vote on the comment.
No. Man, IMDb. We're gonna have to come up with our own Kickflix wiki.
We're gonna have to write our own email to our own submission to IMDb. To whom it may concern.
No, thank you. All right, that's it for the parental guide. Apparently, parents, if you want to watch this prison boxing movie with your children, go ahead. Lots of fucks and apparently an intense murder scene in black and white.
Quick black and white titty.
Yeah, that's right.
It's black and white to show you that it's in the past.
No, that means it's artistic.
They cut to. Here's the problem. It also cut to a bunch of like archival boxing footage. So I'm like,
that's also in the past?
It's also in the past, but further back.
Yeah,
more past.
They should have gone to sepia. They should have gone into sepia.
They should have increased the contrast or something.
White fucking sepia. Like that's just.
Add that film grain, like like really lean into the dating of it.
You know who went on a huge bad word rant was the mafia guy, the gangster. When he my motherfucking wife's fucking ass motherfucker. I was like, Jesus,
fucking
guy.
Columbo, bro.
As a professional comedian, I was like, excuse me, sir. Let me clutch my pearls as I watch this scene.
You want to do the 60-second review though? Let's do the 60
Yeah, we gotta
review.
We gotta follow the fucking process.
First impression. 60-second first impressions. Go ahead.
Yeah.
Jeff.
Square up.
Yikes.
Yikes. Fair enough. Fair enough.
This movie for the really solid, amazing cast that they had. I can see where he was trying to go with it. The director.
I'm now laughing at Jeff's joke. Columbo,
bro. I could see what he was trying to do with this movie, but I think that he lost control in the editing process. And I had mentioned it to Neri. I think that there was a good movie with a good premise in here, but it's not what we got. Mm-hmm. And I think that a lot of the acting was solid. I think most of it was solid. There was a couple that I was like, okay, that's an interesting choice. Like the sidekick to the mafia guy. I forgot his name. Like he leaned into that accent a little bit sometimes, and that's not how he really talks.
I thought, like, for a second there, I forgot what his name was, and I was like, he's Native American. Like he was doing like a really. I'm sorry, I don't mean to interrupt your.
No, you're good. You're good.
Your thing. But yeah, I was like, he's doing like the classic. I am a Native American. How like he was? Yeah. I was like, he's Latino though, right? What's happening?
Because I think he was trying to. He's supposed to be a cholo, but he wasn't.
I don't think he was supposed to be a cholo.
I think his intro thing was something about being a part of a gang, a Mexican gang. I thought it said.
Wait, I'm sorry. I was thinking of the Iceman
from
Hellmate.
No, not the Sphinx from Mystery Men. Not him. He's right. He's But yeah, like, so I don't think this was a good movie, but I think that it had the ability to have been a great movie had some of the direction and some of the editing been vastly changed. And I'm going to give props to the director. He learned from a Short Circuit and didn't put this guy in brownface. And
Fisher
just,
Stevens.
you know, Fisher Stevens. Yeah, didn't put him in brownface. So positive movement there.
Fisher Stevens from Short Circuit.
Yeah.
Oh no, sir. I need you to I'm sorry. I only know him by his Christian name. Ratbag.
Ratbag. Ratbag for short.
The fuck? Some of these names, it's like one of them was Ratbag, the other one was Dirtbag or something, or Scumbag, or somebody in the prison name was Scum. I was watching it with subtitles.
Teabag was the worst one though.
And it was like Scumbag, and I was like, what the laziest writing of all? Ratbag.
West Goody was Mingo.
It's not even like he had that cliche pet rat. You know, the fucking every prison movie has one guy that has a pet rat. Ratbag. Sorry.
And the manager for Iceman was Yank. That was his first name.
Yank.
Yank is
operator.
is a name,
put me through the Yank.
No, why that's actually a oh god.
The operator would have been like, sir, can you narrow it down? There's so many Yanks in the Hollywood area. There's so many Yanks.
Yeah, no, Yank. Oh god, it's a name from.
I had a friend
short for something.
I had a friend named Yanko 1,000 years ago. He passed away now, but it's fine.
But yeah,
Yanko,
so that's my 60 second is like, I'm not no qualms about this. This was not a good movie.
Mike, 60-second, square up.
I will say, like every boxing movie, there's not a lot. There's training, and then that one big fight at the end. So if we're looking at it as a Kickflix movie, it falls short in the kicking and punching. Like there's no kicking in this movie at all. There's the training and the boxing and the whole like build up to the big fight. At the end, I was like, oh, okay, so here's the fighting. You know, like here we go. All right, this is good. And I will say that this movie came out in 2002. The editing was so extreme that I had to go back and like, when did this come out and why is it like this?
Yeah.
And I'm 99% sure that someone at whoever was funding this studio, or like the whatever company was like, yeah, we gotta. It's like, hey, we're gonna make a purist boxing film based in this prison, and then it's gonna culminate in like a big boxing match. And they're like, okay, all right, but I'm gonna need you to throw in some flashy editing and Master P. And his No Limit Soldiers. I need you to give me a super literal soundtrack that I can play over the end of a scene that literally says what happened in the last scene. I need you and then the guy was like, yeah, all right.
That's true. There was that one song.
Every song. No, if you listen to it, every song was like,
oh, sure.
I'm a jail and I'm boxing. Yeah, right, I'm a jail and I'm boxing.
Yeah. Well, Baby Driver does it. It's fucking revolutionary. This guy does it, and all of a sudden it's frowned upon.
He had to choreograph the montage to the song. If he would have been like, and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2, it would have been perfect. But yeah, it was just like, it feels.
And I duck, and I dodge, and I punch.
I'm in prison and I'm boxing. I'm in prison and I'm boxing. And they suck, bro. Master P and the No Limit Soldiers are trash.
Excuse me. How fucking dare you?
Hot
first of all,
fucking garbage.
You know what? You know why Rocky's not a 5 out of 5 now after me watching this movie? Because Master P is not doing the national anthem before the fight.
Bro, that was so fucking stupid. So stupid.
Him and
I
Silk
hope my
the
neighbors
Shocker
can hear me shouting about how Undisputed 2002 scene where Master P's No Limit Soldiers sing the national anthem is fucking trash.
Silk the Shocker and him elevated.
I would love for your neighbor to be like, it's true, it does suck.
You're right.
We agree with you.
Fuck that movie.
On top
I'm
of
so
that,
angry now. You reminded me. It took me 20 years to forget this movie, and you just brought it up again.
I will say this: I was shocked at like who was in this movie. I was like, if you took all of that flashy bullshit away from it,
That's
it's
what
not.
I told Jeff. That's what I told Jeff. I go, this movie was ruined in editing. Whether it was the director's choice or whether the director edited or he had a say in editing. I thought this is the most 90s fucking movie I've ever seen. I don't care that it came out in 2002.
Yeah.
I would love to find out. And like this would be my hunch, right? Which is total conjecture. But my hunch is this movie was filmed and made in like 97, 98, and then it was put on the shelf and it wasn't released into 2002. Because I am so fucking like, it's unbelievable to me. It's literally unbelievable to me that they made and edited this movie in 2001. Because it's so fucking 90s. It made me feel like I'm watching every music video in the fucking 90s. It was like just dissolve after like they would dissolve one in a montage. They would dissolve one scene on top of another scene, and every time I kept looking at this, every time they did this, is like the one special effect that they had in the fucking in the editing bay. They're like, we have a dissolve, and I just kept thinking about the Spaceball scene where it was like, nice dissolve, but there was so many of these fucking dissolves. It was so it was unfucking bearable.
I will say
that you didn't. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. I mean, we've lost the square up thread, but the idea of
I'm fucking squaring up against dissolves. Like, square up, motherfucker. Like, I want to fight this dissolve. Like,
that's a 60-second review right there. Fuck dissolves.
Fuck dissolves. Well, let's get into it. I mean, like, let's start with what. So first of all, Ving Rhames is fucking scary and looks dope in this movie. Like this, he looked like he could be a fucking heavyweight fighter.
Every actor in this movie did good.
Yeah,
this is like the worst movie with good acting that I've ever seen. Like I've never like everybody did good. Wesley Snipes did good. Everybody did good. Fucking Mary Poppins did good. Everybody did good in this fucking movie, man.
Michael Rooker was in it.
Michael Rooker was in it. Yeah, I'll tell you this one choice that I'm really happy that they did. One of the few bits of trivia about this movie is that Wesley Snipes was first approached, and he was like, "I'm in. I don't care who I play," because he was up for either role of Iceman or what was it? Wesley? No, what was his name?
Monroe.
Then they sent it to Ving Rhames. Ving Rhames called and said, "I want to play Iceman." And Wesley's like, "That's fine, because I'll play Monroe. I don't care. I'll play either one of these characters." And I think they both were cast perfectly for those characters. I could not see Ving Rhames be the stoic guy that Wesley played Monroe as.
I could see that. I could totally see that. Here's the difference. Physically, it's better if Iceman is bigger.
Yeah.
Like just aesthetically, it's better if Iceman is played by a larger man. It's, you know what I mean? So Wesley Snipes, which I know can act very well, and I know he could be that cocky guy and blah, blah, blah. He would do a good job acting as Iceman, but it's more fun aesthetically to watch Ving Rhames, which is a larger human, like
who's intimidating as hell.
Yeah, but not be phased by this guy who's the quote unquote prison champ. Like that would be like I think that the parts were casted perfectly. Again, this movie well acted. There wasn't a cheesy fucking line in the movie. I couldn't find any movie like again.
When he says I'm not an athlete, I'm a gladiator. I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Hell yeah.
He's like, I don't. People play baseball. Yeah, people play baseball. I don't play boxing.
I mean, it is like, I think that's
he's playing Tyson, right? Like he's clearly.
Well, yeah.
So clear. That's why I think this was a 90s movie.
Thing. Even the way he comes in the ring, what he wears in the ring, the black towel thing, it's straight up Tyson.
100%. Yeah. That's why I went back and I was like, this movie is about. That's why I went back and looked to see when this movie actually came out, because I was watching. I'm like, this is the Mike Tyson story.
Yeah.
Where he gets accused of rape and he denies it, but it's like
I mean, come on, it's Undisputed.
And then he goes to jail, and there's a story like the idea for this movie came, and that was in 1993 or 2 or some shit like that he got accused. So it's like he went to jail. Mike Tyson went to jail, and there was a story about how he got into a fight with somebody in prison, and somebody knocked him out. And that was essentially like this legend that was going around pre-internet era, where you could do that kind of shit, where someone in prison couldn't just TikTok themselves like, nah, man, I fucked up Mike Tyson. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But so like this legend, this story kind of idea grew, and then when he got out, he became the undisputed heavyweight champ. This is that story, 100% lifted from the headlines, exactly what it was like portrayed from thing. But I think the better story is the Monroe Hutchins story that they don't go into as much.
Right.
That whole story where he was the up and comer and then he gets sent to fucking prison because he murdered somebody. But even they only mention it in passing where Yank goes, I like, he's like, yeah, he was a real deal. He was going to be scouted. He was like, it was coming up, and then he got put away, undefeated. And then that story to me was much more interesting than the story they were telling about this guy. I was like, yeah, he fucking did it. Yeah, he raped that girl.
I'm trying to figure out. Well, first of all, two things. One, I don't believe that Ving Rhames' character raped this chick. I don't believe that he did.
I don't understand how you don't believe that.
I don't believe that he did, because he out of all the things that this guy does, politically correct and nice is not one of them. So he would be the one to be like, yeah, I did it, and what? What the fuck are you gonna do about it? Like, that's the kind of attitude I see this character taking. But I'm not saying it's the right attitude. I'm saying I would see this guy, and I think the way he says it, the way he feels, where he's like, I ain't no bitch ass rapist, like that. Like, I feel like he has the test towards rapists, and I feel like that to me, again, this is it doesn't matter because it's nobody, it's never proven. I mean, it doesn't say one way or the other. But that's besides the point. What I was gonna get to, my second point, is I was gonna get to fuck, man, I got so tied up in that conversation. I don't think the Monroe story was as interesting. What I found super interesting was the math. How this guy has 68 fights in 10 years when they only fight every 6 months.
Yeah.
The fuck? No. What happened? They only allow one bout in 6 months. That's twice a year. You should be 24 and all, not 68 and all. What the fuck do you get to 68, man?
Well, think about in the prison. He probably had a bunch of fights in the prison. He had been in prison for some time at that point.
Well, that was his prison record.
That was his prison record. That was his prison record.
That was a new prison. That was a new. They just built it. So
apparently, what was the name of it? What was the name of it?
Oh fuck!
Stillwater, I think.
It's Sweetwater, bro. It was. I asked it as a joke because I said it 18 times.
Yeah.
The new Sweetwater prison. It's in his fucking trunks. Sweetwater. I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Well, but what I'm saying is that, like, I've seen, like, you know, when the early internet era of Kimbo Slice fight videos and shit like that, there had to have been shit like that going around in prison 100%. Or whatever. 100%. So if someone is like in prison for life, and also that was the time when you would see a lot of fucking, for some reason, my friends got big into those prison workout video, like sending those around, like, yo, look at this guy, because they do pull-ups and then they do this thing where they move around. They don't just do a pull-up, they do a pull-up in a circle, and it's like insane body strength. And all it was in prison.
Why in prison? There's plenty of those of the guy doing those, but not in prison.
No, it was a thing on YouTube early on where these, God, I forget what it was called, but it was like going around, because I got it from multiple people and I would see it shared sometimes, of like prison workouts. And that's a thing. People go into prison and then there's nothing to do, and then they get into like working out to stay strong and to defend themselves and all that shit. I've never been to prison. I only know about prison through people I know who have been to prison.
I drove by it once.
And movies. And driving by, even then I maybe not, but that's it. So like the one
even
thing
then I didn't notice
they work out
afterwards. I was like, oh, that was a prison.
But I'll say this. Neri, just to go back to what you were talking about, because I think Mike looked like with his face that he agreed with me. I'm pretty sure he did it, and the reason why he's not saying it is because they showed it at least 5 times of people telling him, "Shut up, just be good, don't say anything, don't do anything." So because they're like, if you want to lose your career, if you're here for even 4 years, you're done because you're 36 already, or like 30 something. You're going to be done. So he wouldn't do that because all he cared about was his title and his image.
Yeah, his getting out.
Also,
no, it wasn't. He didn't care about his image because he said, "Fuck the fans, I'll get them back." He didn't care about his image. He cared about getting out so that he could make more money.
Well, true.
That
Yeah,
I'll give you. That I'll give you. But he didn't care about his image. He didn't.
and
I think it's a narcissistic thing.
Yeah,
I don't think it has to do with more about like I didn't rape that girl. That girl wanted it. Whether they had any evidence to the contrary at all, that's how narcissists think. They're like, no, this was what
They didn't have any evidence. There was no evidence. At least
there's
in the movie. Yeah,
but what I'm saying is that we're going off of the fucking movie of him already being convicted and being in jail and all that stuff. So clearly he was convicted, and in all of those interviews, especially the one with the woman where they told him that he was like, nah, I've felt pain before. She didn't want no pain. She wasn't having no all that. That's mad creepy, and that was him basically, in my mind, showing that he's a fucking narcissistic, crazy guy.
Narcissistic, absolutely, but
and the thing about narcissism is that it's not just about how good you are as an athlete or shit like that. It is about your whole fucking existence. It doesn't turn off when it comes to like whether or not a girl likes me. You know, that narcissism is like a pervasive thing in someone's life. So when he's having that experience and having that interview, I'm like, nah, this guy did it for sure.
Here's a weird thing. Why was that interview in black and white?
Oh, was it in the past?
I'm legitimately asking. Like it was him in prison. So why was that interview in black and white if we've established that black and white means in the past?
Yeah, Neri, but there was also another black and white scene. The storytelling order in this was stupid. Like that suddenly he was in the warden's office and they were like, "Oh, we heard that you assaulted some of the white brotherhood." And I'm like, when did that happen? And then they show a flashback in black and white of him washing his hands in the bathroom, and then the big Aryan guy coming, and he just is like, "Hey, so I heard you don't want to mix with people," and then he just gets punched in the face by Iceman, and Iceman starts beating the crap out of him. Things that could have been done in a progressive order, you didn't have to do in a flashback. Like
you didn't have to break it up.
Right.
Tell a linear fucking story.
That's what I kept thinking myself. You don't have to be fancy you don't have to do all this fancy cuts and editing.
Right.
You don't have to do all these dissolves. You don't have to make it a music video. Every shot was like fucking this. Every shot was like this.
Your camera's super slow.
Yeah. Your camera's like, if it keeps freezing for the listener.
Oh, you mean at a Dutch angle?
Yes, every fucking angle was at a Dutch angle.
I did that once in college.
Yeah.
No.
But the truth of it is that like I didn't mind any of the weird angles. What I minded was like
I minded the combination of everything. The weird angles with the fucking dissolves, with the cuts, with the black and white, with the non-linear storytelling. All of that combined just equals garbage. You ruined the movie.
This reminds me of when I worked at Best Buy, right? I worked in the PC home office department of Best Buy. And we sold computers and we had these display computers. This was in 1999. So it's not that far off. And that was when Windows released that Windows Movie Maker bullshit.
Yeah, I remember that.
And everyone who had a slight inkling with digital video cameras or anything like that would do every fucking effect like at the same time.
Yes.
Gang, 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 gang.
100%.
And
it was
this
a
is a
star
predator.
wipe. It was a
predator
fucking
effect. Remember the Predator one?
Yeah.
It was this, and then the words would come across, and then all that stuff, and then it would do a clock wipe, and then they would do a reverse clock wipe, and then they would blend the thing, and then they would dissolve. It was like there at one point they showed him having lunch in the cafeteria, and they showed an overlay of the map of the prison.
Yes,
I was like, "What the fuck do we need
this
for?
Prison Break, bro? Like, what the fuck are you doing?"
Not only that, they give us the layout of the prison, and then so often throughout the entire movie, they give us dates as if we're supposed to be writing this shit down with a phone.
Yes.
It's February 5th. Shit.
Oh, hold on. Wait, they got into prison on December. Okay, hold on.
What's the math here?
I don't like the only thing that mattered. The only dates that mattered was when it said 27 days to the fight. Like, okay, thanks.
Perfect.
Thanks
for clearing that
Boom.
up.
Boom. All I needed.
It was like Harry Potter, where it's like, and now it's Christmas, and everything's got snow on it, and then it's spring, and the snow is melting.
I'm very sad at the fact that they didn't do a black and white flashback of Iceman fighting Nicolas Cage on the airplane.
Oh, are you saying that Undisputed and Con Air are in the same universe?
Boom.
Yes, shared universe, bro.
The Day of the Dog. Iceman, Diamond Dog. Hello, Ice, Diamond, done. There you go.
Why is Ratbag the fucking trainer? I don't.
And
Because
why
he's
is
the
Rat?
fast talker, man. He's the guy that makes the deals. He talks a lot of shit. It's
Hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
I'm
but
Rat
he's
Bag. How
a
you doing?
trainer. But he was actually he wasn't just a hype man. I understand him being the hype man, being the mouthpiece. But the dude was also a trainer in the like giving, like smell this Epsom salt, wake you up.
He was his cut man. Yeah. He was.
Well,
the
yeah,
guy.
they even said that like he thinks he's his manager.
Yeah,
But he's
manager, not trainer. Like again, mouthpiece. Where you get off? Why are you training? Why are you in the corner giving him back rubs and fucking like it's a weird dynamic. And then why the three people who came up to Monroe were like, we're gonna rig the fight. I got a guy.
Yeah, we're gonna get him some Xanax.
Why would you run that by the boxer? Why would you run it by him?
Yeah,
I'm just trying to help
look.
you.
The fact that the fight went down and not one riot broke out after, like during the fight, like that not someone didn't throw something in or something. Like that was the like what my favorite part was the I Am Spartacus scene where everybody, even the white people and the black people and the Latinos are all against you, Iceman.
Yeah,
we are all galvanized in our unity for Monroe with a fucking
bro.
Michael Rooker even says these fuckers have seen too many prison movies.
Yes.
I was like, you're doing it. This is your movie. You're talking about you.
I love the fact that Ving Rhames, the way he played that scene where everybody's like Monroe, and he started doing the fucking thing, like going along with it. Like, oh yeah, that was again.
But you're right. That was so cheesy. That was such a cheesy scene. It was like, I won't let you date my sister, but I hope you knock this other fucking guy out. Like
it was the motherfucker that he fought at the beginning, the Aryan Nation Nazi tattoos guy.
I think you're less of a human, but I hope you knock this other guy out.
Yeah,
it reminded me of that scene from The Office where Dwight's like, the enemy of my enemy is my friend.
Yeah,
but he's also the friend of my enemy is my enemy, so he's also my friend enemy. Like it's that whole convoluted shit. It's like, yeah, these dumb fucks.
I will say this, and I'm sure I'm gonna get screamed at by the two of you guys. I feel that even though we haven't officially watched it on the podcast, I feel that this movie is more of a Kickflix movie than Rocky is.
Yeah,
and the reason
I don't know if I'm of two minds about, because boxing is a Kickflix movie, but boxing is a martial art,
right?
But the movies that are about boxing are not about necessarily because it's like boxing, right? Boxing is months of buildup, one long ass night of everybody fighting at the same fucking time, right? Like undercard fight lasts like 6 hours. By the time the main event happens, it's like midnight. Because it happens in Las Vegas and we're on Eastern time. It was always my like understanding of it. Fucking fight night takes for fucking ever, and it took months to get there. It took months of people back and forth and weigh-ins, and and it's a bunch of the same fucking tape over and over again. This is the same shit. This is them training. Every fight movie that is not a tournament movie, like this is a boxing match. They drag the shit out for so long that it becomes less about the martial art, more about the drama around the martial art. And that's what this was. He had a couple of scraps and scrapes, going into it, like straight up punching the Islamic guys, the Nation of Islam guys. Yeah. I was like, yeah, good. Fighting I was like, okay, good. Action. Making no friends in there. And the fact that nobody tried to kill him ahead of time, and these are like the worst of the worst criminals who have nothing to look forward, no freedom to look forward to ever. I'm like, all right, okay, whatever.
Well, I think that's implied with the mob guy, that it's like, since he's the guy that's basically centered around the boxing thing, that they're like, and they know that he can get anything, including getting Iceman out of jail, like early and shit like that. But the reason I brought it up is because
why couldn't he get the fucking himself out of jail?
Well,
because his fucking wife's asthma.
Fucking wife wanting to go to fucking Florida.
No, he should have stayed in Florida. We gotta go to the fucking desert because of my wife's asthma.
The reason I brought up that
fucking wife's fucking asthma, like Jesus.
Fucking.
So the reason I brought that up is because Walter Hill, the director, who surprisingly enough has actually directed really good movies before this, he said, and I'm going to quote it: "Some say Hollywood movies that are made about boxing are just metaphors for other things. I think I've made one that's actually about boxing and not a metaphor." Which I kind of disagree with, because I think there is a lot of metaphors in there. But in his eyes, this is the opposite of what I agree with you, Mike, that that he thinks this is a pure boxing movie. It's not a metaphor for anything else.
I understand that he is. It's absolutely a metaphor for everything. It's literally movies are just long ass metaphors.
I love the fact that this director, you know what, that comment gave me the Hello Kitty vibes. The creator of Hello Kitty said, "Oh, Hello Kitty's not a cat." It's like, what now? And he's like, "Hello Kitty's not a cat." Like, well, okay, well, you're the creator. You're the creator, but you're wrong. That's a fucking cat. You're the creator, but you're wrong. Just like the guy who created GIFs, he said that it's pronounced GIFs, and I'm like, okay, well, you're wrong.
Yeah, right. That's good for you, but no.
Yeah, I'm glad.
But Walter Hill, he directed 48 Hours, another 48 Hours, Warriors. He's done a bunch of movies, which
Brewster's Millions.
Brewster's Millions, classic.
Red Heat.
Yeah, Red Heat also.
Yeah.
I think it just goes to show you that, like,
I think an
editing
editor
can ruin anybody.
Yeah, it's so fuck that up.
Yeah, editing can ruin anything.
So I want to talk about, because we're actually at 40 minutes, guys, and we're still talking about the movie. This is surprising.
We've talked about a lot.
Yeah,
it's a metaphor.
It's a metaphor for life. No, but so I want to talk about the last fight. I want to talk about the last fight for a second, because I texted Neri while I was watching it, and I go, did somebody forget to tell Ving Rhames that he's supposed to at least somewhat flinch when he gets punched?
Oh, the choreography was good, but the fighting, the physics were bad.
Well, and the sound effects were bad.
They were missing by miles, and the angles, I guess the choreography part, the camera choreography, the blocking and everything was just like, oh, they are missing by fucking obvious miles.
I did say that. I told Neri, I like Wesley Snipes in that fight. He knew the assignment. He sold the shit out of those fights. I compared it to Stone Cold stunning people in WWE. For the people that used to watch it, like when he would stun somebody, they would sell the shit out of it, like fly in the air. Like The Rock was always great at that. Wesley Snipes was selling all those punches, and yes, he's supposed to be the smaller guy, and the hits are supposed to be harder. But Ving Rhames, I mean, look at in the picture for the people watching. Wesley Snipes wasn't small. He was smaller than Ving Rhames, but he was jacked in this movie.
Oh, they all looked the part.
Flinch. Like
he was supposed to be. They looked the part. Like they looked like Wesley Snipes looked like he'd been fucking prison training for a long time.
Right.
And Ving Rhames looked like a heavyweight boxer who maybe hadn't been training for a few months because he was distracted by legal troubles.
Right.
So like they looked great. Also, the scars on Ving Rhames' chest were like super intimidating. They're like he looks like a fucking badass. I will say Wesley Snipes is 5'9", Ving Rhames is 5'11", right? So keep that in mind in terms of like when you're talking about size. They're still not like the biggest people on earth. Right. They looked fucking good in the way that they were shot. But they the fighting and the flow of the fight was very much a conclusion, like a fulfillment of the foreshadowing from the Mafia guy talking about real boxing, that was the writer director guy jerking off and saying, this is what I want my movie to be about the queen. They ruined it with all these rules, and it should be about this, and it should have been about that, and they all of these things, which to a certain extent I agree with. I think that's why MMA got so popular, because boxing fell out, because there's this whole other, literally this show is called Kickflix, and kicking is a huge part of fighting in general. You can't just exclude that. So when MMA comes out and it starts this whole process, and it's like this underground untouchable thing of like taekwondo versus sumo, like that was like the big thing. Right. That was when everyone was like, it was the UFC exploded because of how weird it was. Now it's become another niche fight sport thing. Only nobody watches it for the spectacle anymore. They watch it for the skill and the talent and all that stuff. But it used to be a fucking show. You'd watch Tank Abbott fight some skinny Chinese kung fu guy, and then now it's like the two guys who look exactly the same fighting, with different tattoos. That's basically what it looks like now. But whatever, the point being is that it's the fight choreography looked good, except for that the cameras were just in the most obviously wrong places.
Yeah, and
what bothered me is the fact that they had the cage and they never used it. It never came into play. It never came into like it would have been nice to see Monroe throw Ving Rhames against the cage, like, oh, this isn't your fucking, this is in your Las Vegas ring, this is a fucking prison.
Welcome to prison.
Welcome
Yeah,
to prison type
absolutely.
of scene where they had it in that
wouldn't have
movie.
been about pure boxing.
But it was so stupid because they're like, the referee's not even going to be in there. He's going to be on the outside. But we're still going to make sure there's no lower. But no, 100%. But then they're like, but still, there's going to be no kicking, no low blows, no this, no that. And I'm like, but if
here's
you're
the
going
thing:
to put the referee on the outside,
you had two guys who are purists to the sport. Like, they're, say what you will about their personalities or character, they're like, hey, they believe to be themselves purists to the sport. My whole thing is, why not use the fucking cage? If you have it there, use it for the story, not just aesthetically. It's not just, to be honest with you, it made for shit aesthetics. It fucking blocked the camera. It blocked all this, like, the view.
At a certain point, I was like, we get it. There's a cage there. I can't see anything. Get out of the way.
Exactly. So if you're going to have a cage there for just aesthetics, which is not pleasant, use it in the story. Use it again. Use it. One of them fucking, throwing, even in UFC, they use the cage. You go up against, you know what I mean? Like, that's
boxing, you use the ropes.
Yeah, exactly.
It was so random.
It's a rope-a-dope. It's a thing.
Yeah. The thing, like, also that kind of confused me was like at the very towards the end when they're cleaning everything up, that the guy, that Chewie's like, he died 3 weeks later and he left me $2 million, so I guess I'm not gonna be too bad outside of prison. And I'm like, I don't care. Like, this was never about you and your story. Like, why are you fucking telling me this? Like, good for you, Chewie, but fuck yourself. Like, I don't care. Like, this has nothing to do with me. And then that last shot, like, Neri, I'd finished it before Neri did, and I go, prepare for the last 30 seconds of the movie, because that last shot when they're all like, when they start going like undisputed, like, you're the champ, and they show that shot of Wesley Snipes building the bridge out of the matchsticks, and then it's just doing a one solid shot, which that's all you could have done, and then it goes to 7 dissolves into black and white, like back to back to back to back, and for 30 seconds, and then it just goes, it shows his record, then it goes again, like 3 more dissolves, and then undisputed. I'm like, you could have just done one shot. Like, one shot. You didn't need to do 15 flashbacks.
By the way, this editor has done other things in the past, including Horse Whisperer. This editor edited Horse Whisperer. He edited a bunch of other movies that are not good, but he did edit Another 48 Hours, Red Heat. Apparently, this just the same as the director uses this guy a lot. But he also did Last Man Standing with Bruce Willis. Did you ever watch that movie?
That's a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
It's literally edited just like this. If you watch Last Man Standing, it's literally edited just like that. Dissolve after special effect after special effect. The Horse Whisperer was critically acclaimed. I never saw that movie, but it is critically acclaimed. And then he did, So he's just not a good editor. He did an episode of Deadwood, which doesn't surprise me. But
that show's amazing. What are you talking about?
But
I love this trivia.
It's a show that was done in 2004. So it's a show that, like I told you, with I use the if you ever go back and watch the first season of Sopranos, there's so many episodes where the editing is so 90s, and you go, oh yeah, it's a 90s, like it's a 90s.
You forget.
Yeah.
There's a couple notes that are relevant. The title appears on screen 4 times during the entire film. That's 4 times that you see Undisputed. And this movie wasn't released in Australia for 10 years until it was released on DVD in 2012. Imagine seeing this movie for the first time as like a new release in 2012.
Is it part of a 7 movie package?
It is, Neri.
I saw Googling. Where is the picture? So I'm Googling the movie to get these images on file. If you're listening to the audio version, just go watch us on YouTube and in Facebook. But there is a movie package that has 7-in-1 movies.
Wow.
You could buy a 7-in-1 movie that includes all 4 Undisputeds, Ninja 1 and 2, and Ninja Assassin.
Ninja 1 and 2, the art Revenge, like Enter the Ninja and Revenge of the Ninja.
No, there's a series of movies just called Ninja.
Okay.
Just Ninja, yeah.
So this movie had a $20 million budget.
Okay.
And an opening weekend, it opened in the United States and Norway. It made $4.5 million in in the United States, and it made $15,000 in Norway.
15,000.
Eventually, it ended
How
up
much
making
was the total?
4.5 million domestic, 15,000 in Norway.
No,
It
what was
ended
the
up.
budget? I mean, the budget.
Oh, the budget.
20.
It's estimated to be $20 million,
20 million.
and it ended up only. So it
2
ended up
million of that was
grossing-
was catering.
worldwide. It ended up grossing 14.9 million, and internationally 2.1 million.
So 16 million.
Yeah, and it's got so Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a 48% critics, 46% audience.
At least they're close.
Yeah,
Everyone is objectively like, yeah, it's a 40%er.
and only 106 critics reviewed it since 2000.
That's still a lot of critics, man. That's 100 something critics. That's a lot. Like, fuck.
And you gotta imagine 104 of those were because of Ving Rhames and or Wesley Snipes. They're like, yeah, I'm gonna review the new Wesley Snipes movie. I'm gonna review the new Ving Rhames movie, and then they watch it and they're like, what? What are your reviews, Jeff? Hit me with your reviews, man.
Because I was immediately gut reaction was a 1, but I legit think that if it wasn't for the editing, this would have been a solid Kickflix movie. So because of the acting and what I know it could have been, I'd probably give it a 1.5. I'm going to give it a 1.5. Culturally appropriate Fisher Stevens.
Rap bag.
I would love it if after the movie is like, nah, I was playing a Latino the whole time. It's like, God damn it, Fisher Stevens, you were so close. You could have just been a white guy.
Yeah.
No. I was being a Latino, and I browned my skin a little bit. I got a self tan. No,
I went to a level
Fisher
4
Stevens,
in the
stop.
But yeah, I think just the editing kills it, man. And then I mean, I wanted to almost give it a 2 because of Master P doing the national anthem, but it's not worth the half a point. So I'm gonna give it a 1.5.
Mike,
I'm gonna give it a 2.5 matchstick construction devices.
oh, I literally was that was gonna be my fucking system of rating. That's funny.
2.5 matchstick bridges, and or model homes. I think this movie is not terrible. I think like if you want a better version of this movie that is absolutely amazing, go watch Warrior. Mm-hmm. If you know what I mean, like you don't know, it's like, oh, who do I want to win, etc. What everyone has a story they tell, but this movie it seemed like they were trying to do something and they got noted to death. And 2.5 in the sense of like if you go into it knowing what it is, you're gonna at very least find something good in here. The performances were pretty decent. The story was a classic box builder drama movie, and then the end was kind of rewarding, especially the fight, the flow of the fight where there's like a turnaround, and then it's like, oh well. Okay.
I will say that was a funny time when he said, if I would have known this fight was gonna happen, I would have committed a crime a long time ago.
Ed Lover, at a certain point, I was like, man, shut the fuck up, Ed Lover. I'm trying to watch this because it took away from it felt like this was like, hey, let's make it like add more.
Hip-hoppity. It's all hip-hoppity. It's not like
more hip-hop.
And I was like, more hip-hop into it. And I'm like, well, okay.
Leave that shit out. They could have just had the fight be the fight when all the sound goes quiet at the end. I was like, this is great. But there was too much of that where, granted, that's a very fucking funny line. But that it was unnecessary, So
I like the fact that he was like, "Oh, he's talking shit. He's talking shit to y'all. He ain't talking shit to me. He's talking shit to you."
Yeah. Again, it would have been fine like there were two different movies happening at the same time, and I wanted the more serious movie because that felt more rewarding. But if you go into it, you'll find something. Knowing it's what it is, you won't be.
This is one of those movies
absolutely disappointed. 2.5.
This is one of those movies where I wish the internet would step up and re-edit this movie.
Yes.
Like I wish the internet would be like, I fixed it. Here you go, guys, and be like, and sure, it might be 7 minutes shorter because they took away all the dissolves. But here's the fucking movie that like I wish the internet would step up for this one because the story was solid.
What a
It's very good
niche thing to
solid.
do.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, but
What's your rating?
yeah, I would give it. I was gonna say match. I don't have anything else. I was trying to come up with anything else, but I would give it a 2. I was
Two
gonna,
Master P national anthems.
I was gonna give it a 1. Originally, man, this movie's so bad but I realized quickly that I was just hating on the editing. It's just that bad. The editing is that bad that it ruined the movie. But then I was like 40 minutes, maybe an hour into the movie, and I realized, the acting is actually good. You got to get past it, and then you got to get past the really bad editing. And the acting is good. The story's good. I just think the editing is really fucked up. Not just for the dissolves, but for the non-linear storytelling, the
edginess of it all.
Yeah, it's just
Shut up.
But I would give. So I went to 2. I moved up to a 2. But originally I was thinking 1. I thought we were all gonna give this shit a 1 at one point. I was like, this might be the first unanimously 1 fucking Kickflix movie. We still haven't had that, by the way. We still haven't had a movie that unanimously we all hated.
No.
And
this one, to be fair, I'm giving it a lot because of I'm giving it a lot of leeway because it was a 2002 in that era. Like I was looking at the movies that came out around it, and it was like Daredevil came out 2003. You know what I mean? Like these are the Hollywood things that were coming out at that time. Fuck, I had a whole list and I abandoned it. But yeah, like look up the movies that were coming out in 2002, and you'll see they were trying a lot of things.
All right, so that's it. That's the movie. Let's go into our
spin that wheel.
Spin the wheel. Share screen. Sorry, guys.
I wish there was a way to make it look more fluid. It always feels really choppy.
Yeah, because it's my fault because I'm not ready for it. All right, so if you guys want to add movies to the wheel, go ahead and email us at kickflixpod@gmail.com. That's kickflixpod@gmail.com. As of right now, we have 46 entries in the movie. And by the way, the movies that are still included are Undisputed 2, 3 are in there. So,
and also next week's will be The Last Dragon.
Oh no, they don't. This doesn't come out for another week. So yeah, you're fine.
Well, next week's.
Yeah.
No, next week's the next
week.
This one will be after that.
Right. Correct. Yes,
Right.
it would.
Yeah.
All right. Let's spin the wheel.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah, I was like, wait, what?
I was right. I can't see anything.
I
Nothing's
can't see
coming
anything.
through.
Game of Death. Nice.
Oh, what a
Yes.
swing from. Let's break out our white jumpsuits, baby. Our
Game
yellow
of Death.
jumpsuits, I mean.
Game of Death. Another Bruce Lee movie. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right. So
This is Kickflix, baby. You knew it was coming.
I was just hoping that it would be separated from. All right, so Game of Death will be next week or the following week. So make sure you guys check us out. Thank you for checking us out. All our social media, go to Kickflix Pod on all social media or geekbro.net if you want to check out the other podcasts on the Geek Bro Network that include but not limited to Better Let Me Tell You, Chow Like a Best with Mike Valdez, the What's Up Bro podcast with Mike and I, and the Cramocopia with Jeff and Q. The horror movie podcast with Dave. So make sure you guys check that out. Go to geekbro.net. Thank you very much. That's how kicks are done.
Kickflix.